For 2 years, my entire body was breaking out in a red rash. It was itchy and it was uncomfortable, but most of all, I just wanted to get to the bottom of what was causing it because I really value my health. I think of myself as a healthy person, so I was curious as to what was causing these rash outbreaks on my entire body. I went to the doctor, I had a naturopath, I did my own research, and I did a few experiments to try to see what it was that was causing these outbreaks. In the end, I came to the conclusion that it's something called Tinea Versicolor, which is a fungal outbreak that lives on top of the skin. The consensus was that no matter what I did, maybe the symptoms would reduce and go away temporarily, but they would always return and essentially haunt me for the rest of my life, and that you can never actually get rid of Tinea Versicolor. That is not a belief that I choose to subscribe to, so I set out on my own healing journey to overcome it and heal my body on a cellular level. So after following this healing protocol for the last 9 months, I've been symptom-free for 6 months, which is really exciting, especially given the fact that I was told I would never overcome these symptoms. As you probably already know, there is a ton of information out there on how to heal your skin and what to eat and what not to eat to be healthy, and for the most part, none of those protocols worked for me. It wasn't until I found Medical Medium and started following his protocols that I started to understand healing on a deeper level. He actually channels spirit, so all of the information that he receives and that he shares with the world comes from spirit and is actually ahead of any scientific research that has been done to date. I'd highly recommend checking out Medical Medium's book. It's actually more of a textbook than it is a book. It's like this thick, full of information on the healing benefits of celery juice. Another great resource is an Instagram page called Celery Juice Heals, and it's got endless amount of stories from people that are using celery juice to overcome so many disorders, whether that be anxiety or skin disorders, strengthening and healing our digestive tracts, OCD, brain fog, migraines. Honestly, it's endless, the things that people are overcoming. So along with experiencing this red rash that would break out over my entire body, I've always struggled to have a healthy digestive system. I haven't felt like my body's eliminating properly. And when our colon and our digestive system isn't eliminating as it is intended to, then those toxins have to be removed from the body some other way. And in most cases, that becomes the skin. The skin is another eliminative organ. And so when all of this is backed up, it has no other choice but to come out here. And that's exactly what was happening to me. I believe it was only 6 weeks into drinking celery juice every morning, and at that point I hadn't even missed a day, so it was literally 6 weeks straight. That's when my digestive tract started to come back online and I was eliminating properly, and immediately I started to see a reduction in the symptoms and the rash on my skin. Medical Medium talks about the salt clusters that are in celery juice, helping to fight off viruses, pathogens, and fungus. And I can tell you from experience, there's no denying that this shit works. It's really important that we give the celery juice time in our body to do what it needs to do to help us heal. So have your lemon water in the morning, wait half an hour, let that hydrate you, let that get everything online in your system, have the celery juice, and then wait another half an hour before you eat any food. So a lot of the research I was doing was telling me not to sweat at all because the fungus lives on top of the skin, and when we sweat, that creates moisture on the skin, which feeds the fungus. Now, while I can kind of wrap my head around that slightly, it didn't resonate for me at all because our body, by sweating, is just trying to release toxins. So by telling myself I can't sweat, I'm essentially telling my body that it cannot release toxins. So what did I do? I decided to go exactly against that advice, and I went into the sauna every day for a month. I could literally feel my pores opening up, and I visualized my body detoxing on a cellular level. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't actually feeding the fungus like some of this research said I would do if I were to sweat. So as soon as I got out of the sauna, I would lather myself up with soap and I'd have a cold shower just to close up my pores and to rinse off anything that might have been detoxed through the sweat. I put a lot of focus on eating whole foods, so I was eating a lot of steamed yams, squashes, potatoes, broccoli, and fresh greens. And since then, I've been symptom-free for the last 6 months. And that doesn't mean that I never cheat. If I really am craving something, I do that with the best intentions and I enjoy it fully and I get back on track the next day. Last but not least, and it's definitely not a sexy one or a comfortable one, but enemas. If you've never done an enema, you use filtered water in an enema bag, then you want to lay down and stick that enema tube into your bum and let the water trickle in. It's really important that you use filtered water so you don't get any contaminants into your colon. That would not be good. And once you get the water in, hopefully you can get the whole 2 liters into your colon. Let it sit there, hold it for as long as you can, at least 3 minutes. Let that water soak in, hydrate your colon, and start to pull the mucoid plaque off of your colon. And then when you're ready, when you feel like you can't hold it anymore, get up, get to the toilet, and release. I told you this wasn't going to be a sexy talk, but it's such a great way to help our body detoxify. Some people like to argue that we don't need to go on a juice cleanse, or we don't need to fast, or we don't need to do enemas because our bodies do such a good job at detoxifying on their own. And I agree to a certain extent, because our bodies are miraculous beings that do such a great job at dealing with the stress and the burden that we put them under. But that said, we are under such unprecedented amounts of toxic burden than we've ever been under before. So my belief is, why not help our bodies out in any way that we can? A lot of the research that I was doing told me to use Selsun Blue, which is an anti-dandruff shampoo, on my skin, and to leave it there for 10 to 20 minutes to kill the fungus and then shower. I tried this 5 to 10 times and it either didn't work at all or it temporarily worked, but I would have just as bad of a flare-up a couple days later. So what I did was I went out and got ionic zinc, because apparently it's the zinc inside the Selsun Blue shampoo that helps to kill the fungus, and I believe healing happens internally versus externally, so I decided to put the zinc in my body. And then I also went out and got Nizoral, which is a more effective treatment for topically killing off the fungus. So I did 1 round of this. I kept it on my skin for 20 minutes and then showered it off, and that seriously helped to remove the topical fungus that I was struggling with. From there, I was able to focus on my healing process and healing my internal terrain. I want to end this video by saying healing is not a linear path. We may make 2 steps forward and have to take a step back. That's just the way it goes. So be gentle on yourself, have compassion for yourself, and follow that inner guidance. I just invite you to make every decision you make out of love. So if you have a slip or you have a cheat, do that with intention and do that with love, because the intention behind our choices have, in my belief, just as great as an impact as the actual choice itself. That's it for today, guys. That's all. Thanks for checking in, and I hope you gained some value from today's video. At very least, go check out Medical Medium and consider giving celery juice a try. It's been absolutely profoundly amazing for me, and I hope and trust it will do the same for you.